Sir Topham Hatt was in his office being measured for a new suit. When he heard the news, he left immediately for the docks. Sir Topham Hatt knew that any trouble at the docks could cause confusion and delay.
You have made a terrible mess, Cranky, he said sternly.
I'm sorry, sir, Cranky whispered.
You engines will have to stay here tonight until Harvey clears up this mess in the morning.
Cranky's heart sank as Salty uttered those fateful words.
That reminds me of a story. It was a bitter cold winter. The brave little ship was stuck until the ice melted the next spring. He barely made it round the cape. After 100 scary days at sea without a scratch, he sailed into port and crashed his bow not 15 feet from my buffers. Luckily, no one was hurt.
Except my ears, wailed Cranky. Salty spent all night telling tales of powerful storms, daring rescues, and brave little ships. And when the sun rose, he was still talking, and talking, and talking.
I can't take any more,
groaned Cranky. Harvey the crane engine arrived. Sir Topham Hatt sent me to help clear away this mess, he puffed proudly. Cranky was so pleased the engines would be going soon, he forgot to be cranky. I'll never misbehave again, he promised, as long as I don't have to listen to any more of Salty's stories. And after Harvey and the workmen had cleared the wreckage, Cranky worked hard all day. He carefully loaded the trucks, helped speed the engines on their way, and he said please and thank you. This is new, puffed Thomas, but he had spoken too soon. Cranky couldn't help himself. It was nice while it lasted, said Percy. And all the engines laughed. But Cranky was still cranky. Sir Topham Hatt has given Percy a big job. It's going to take him all night. At night, everything looks different. It can be hard to know what things are. So Percy likes to guess. First, Percy has to go to the docks. What can that be? Percy thinks it could be a giant bird. It's very tall. It has a long arm. And it's at the docks. Of course, it's not a bird. It's Cranky the Crane. Next, Percy is pulling his freight car through a village. But what can this be? Percy thinks it could be a strange building. It looks like a block with 2 rows of holes. But buildings don't move, and they can't honk a horn. And those aren't holes, they're windows. Of course. It's not a strange building, it's Bertie the bus. Things do look different in the dark. But you guessed what they were. Well done. The magic lamp. Narrow gauge engines work very hard. They puff and chuff all day, up and down the hills. One day, the winding gear that carried coal cars up and down the incline broke. The engines had to work extra hard, pulling heavy coal cars up and down the long, steep track. Until at the end of the day, they could ease their aching axles. That evening, Thomas puffed into the transfer yards. All the narrow gauge engines were there. Thomas was delivering steel winches and wires to repair the broken incline. Listen, Thomas, hooted Rusty. Skarloey's telling us a story from the hills. Long, long ago, began Skarloey, there was an old engine called Proteus. His lamp was so bright,
You could see it for miles around. Proteus said it was a magic lamp. He promised that if any engine ever found the lamp, their wishes would come true.
How would you know it was Proteus's lamp? Asked Duncan.
First, you feel a rush of wind whenever the lamp is near,
Skarloey chuffed quietly.
Then you hear a strange creaking sound. And finally, he added, you see it flicker on and off and on.
Peter Sam huffed loudly. I don't believe there's a magic lamp. Soon all the steel winches and wires were loaded into Peter Sam's freight cars. I have work to do, huffed Peter Sam. I'm a really useful engine, not a really silly one. The incline must be working by morning, so I won't be wasting my time looking for a silly magic lamp, he tooted proudly. And he steamed quickly away. The moon was bright. Peter Sam huffed and puffed. The magic lamp I know isn't true. It's just an old story and quite silly, too. Peter Sam clickety-clacked towards a junction. Suddenly, he felt a great rush of wind. His axles rattled and his couplings creaked. What's happening? Peter Sam whistled. He was so surprised he puffed right past the junction.